Hi, and thanks for joining Scruffy Politics. Stimpy over here in Detroit, Steve-O over in the west suburbs of Chicago. And the hot story right now seems to be James Comey, who either arranged or randomly found a bunch of seashells on the beach that were arranged to say 8647, referring to either, get rid of in some form, 47 being Donald Trump, the 47th president. So what's your take on this, Steve?
With this 86 means like you're 86th out of the bar, you're kicked out, you're rid of. It could have other meanings too, like get rid of. People could view that as kill. Other people could just view that as just kick him out. I don't think James Comey is dumb enough to send a message that means let's kill someone. No, he's a very educated man. I think he saw a message. He walked by on the beach and saw it and took a picture and posted it. And of course he's gonna hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump has done nothing but assassinate his own character, assassinate James Comey's character, and with Donald Trump, he should be the last person who should be offended about anything after all the jokes he's made in the past about, killing people or injuring people. Okay, so yeah, there's no threat to the president of the United States. Yeah.
I would agree that I don't think, well, first of all, I don't know if he created it or if he just found it. Now, that's very good plausible deniability, and I do believe that the Secret Service already interviewed him on this, as they have to, I believe, by law, with any credible threat concerning the president. So that's probably what he said. He's a pretty smart guy, and he probably just said, well, I didn't arrange those seashells. I found it that way. It reminds me of when he was asked about the FISA warrant to spy on Trump, and they said that there was 17 mistakes in just one form that you had to fill out. And I'll never forget James Comey being ever the liar, or I should say ever the lawyer. What he said was, it may be true that it was mistaken, sloppy police work, but you cannot prove that there was intent to spy on Trump. Therefore, it's not criminal. So that's how he phrased it. He said, unless you can prove that I had an intent to spy on Trump, it's not criminal. It's simply sloppy police work. So that's where the mistakes came from. So he's probably pretty good at wiggling his way out of this. But everybody's drawing these comparisons to the picture of Biden in the back of the truck. That was somebody else who created that content, and Trump just passed it along.
Reposted it. It was Trump who reposted it, though.
True, he did repost it.
Why would he repost it? Would any other president repost that? No.
Probably not. Trump probably thought it was funny.
But he's the president. You should not find that funny.
Well, here's where
Bush would never have found that funny on his Democratic opponent.
So
Same with Reagan and Bush Sr.
Here's where I feel like what we have in society is a lack of principles and standards. And what I mean by that is if you have a principle, if you have a standard, it applies in all situations. But I feel like Democrats pick and choose, because I would agree with you. I didn't like that Trump reposted that. He should have had nothing to do with that. He should have been above the fray, right? That's not something for him to partake in. And likewise, the same with James Comey. James Comey should have known, based on his position in society, that he should not have partaken in that. Whether he found it or he created it, he should have said, I'm just going to go off and have a great retirement with an incredible government pension now. But no, he couldn't. He couldn't because he is biased. And the thing that bothers me the most is, I think one of the reasons Trump is successful and it really burns people is because he was authentic from day one. He let everybody know who he was and what he meant, and with the things that he said. No one sat back questioning, what does Donald Trump really think, or what does he really mean? But with people like...
We all wonder that.
But with James
We
Comey...
don't know what he's going to do the next second. The man is a maniac.
But with James Comey, there was all these...
Real Trump, because the real Trump pays people off in order for them not to talk about who he really is.
But
that's the real Trump.
But James Comey used to have all these people interview him, and they would say his professionalism and integrity is beyond reproach. He's an unbiased civil servant. He's only interested in the law. And then we find out, no, that's all fucking bullshit. The guy's just a hardcore Democrat who hates Trump. He wasn't unbiased. He doesn't care about the law. He approved a document with 17 mistakes, for crying out loud, so he could go after Trump. That's not an unbiased, high integrity individual.
A document with 17 mistakes, or a 34-count felon with, 25 plus women accusing him of sexual assault or rape.
Well, be careful when you throw out the 34 felony counts, because Tish James just did the same thing, and now she's being brought up on charges. So are we going to call Tish James a 34-time convicted felon for she falsified her mortgage documents? Isn't that what she convicted Trump of?
If she's found guilty, then yeah.
Okay, then.
But
that's what I'm talking about with standards. You can't on one hand say, oh, Donald Trump's a 34-time convicted felon, and then say, oh, Tish James just made a mistake. She didn't mean to put her father down, or she didn't actually know what her primary residence was. Who doesn't know what their primary residence is?
Oh, but let's not forget, Donald Trump is the same guy who's also made jokes about how what does it say here? You could shoot through the fake news at the back there. You could shoot at the fake news. That is encouragement to shoot reporters and journalists, for doing their jobs. And he doesn't like when journalists do their jobs, and he did say that at a rally back in 2024 at some time. But so it is kind of funny how people who just blew to the side what Donald Trump said, oh, it's Trump, he's joking, but then James Comey took a picture of something, and now the MAGA party, the Republicans, are going apeshit over a picture, when if it was Donald Trump who did that, let's say to Joe Biden, let's just say, Republicans would say, oh, liberal, you snowflakes take everything personally. When, so I think the Trump crowd needs to get together and figure out, okay, is this offensive or not offensive? And should the same rules still apply to President Trump? Because that he's above the law, and he lets everyone know that he's above the law because he's Trump. He's tough guy Trump. And, so there you go.
I'm going to try something here, because this is one that people keep referring to. So I'm going to hit share my screen, and I'm going to come over here. So can you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so people keep saying, oh, for those people who are saying Comey didn't do anything, remember that Trump said to shoot Liz Cheney. Well, here's actually what he said. Liz Cheney was talking about sending troops to different countries, and Trump was trying to make the point that she's kind of a war hawk. I mean, she wants to go to war all over the globe, right? So he said... He's right here is his actual comment. He said, let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it, when the guns are trained on her face. So he's basically saying, he's not advocating this. He's referring to a theater of war. Like, if she were over there and the guns were pointed at her, would she still be in favor of sending troops to Syria? He doesn't say in here, shoot Liz Cheney. So again, Democrats, they have a way of taking a statement like this and they turn it into something that fits their narrative, and then they broadcast it everywhere. So now it's like it just takes on a new life of its own. It's the same thing with there's good people on both sides. I mean, how many people believe that? And it's actually a lie. It's not true.
After that one car drove through people at that one rally, and it turned out to be a Trump supporter and a right winger, Trump said, "Oh yeah, there's good people on both sides. We need to really."
No, but you've seen that video, the video where everybody says that he said there was good people on both sides. He actually says right after that, and I'm not talking about the white Nazi neoliberal blah, blah, blah. He says, I'm talking about the people that were standing up for their history.
Okay.
But nobody ever plays that. So many people don't know it. I mean, they think that Trump actually said there's good people on both sides. But they don't know the context, and they didn't listen to the rest of the clip. I mean, it's the same with him at January 6th saying, there's, I want people to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard, and then somehow
Rudy
Democrats are
Giuliani
like,
did
no,
say
he told people to go into the Capitol.
But Rudy Giuliani at that same time did say trial by combat, and he was cheered on by the Trumps and Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. And when those Trump supporters, the Trump cult, heard that, they were like, "Oh, trial by combat, let's do this." And then I guess Giuliani didn't understand how a lot of those people there that day would have taken those words to heart. And
well, we don't need to rehash January 6th.
Well,
It's done. It's over. It was the one time Republicans got a little out of control. The Democrats do it all the time. The Democrat. Well, so.
Oh my gosh.
So
I understand the argument about the Black Lives Matter protests too. I mean, those.
So what really happened? You made it sound like it was a lot more than a little. So what exactly happened? So okay, let's just take an inventory here. There was some windows broke. There was some doors. Doors broke. There was some fighting with cops, which Democrats just did recently at the jail. Okay.
Wait. Cops ended up taking their lives. There was a cop the next day, forgot his name, I think.
And you know that they took their life because of January 6th.
Well, coincidentally, right after that, the family member said that they were suffered from what happened, PTSD. I mean, I think any of us who would have been attacked by a huge mob like that and hit with batons would have had PTSD and, would have had a tough time. So, I mean, is it coincidentally all of them died because of something else other than January 6th? No.
Well, I know a couple of people that committed suicide, and I can tell you it wasn't because of any recent traumatic event that happened in their life. There was serious, deep-seated, long-term issues in their life that resulted in why they decided to make that decision. It wasn't because something just happened at work.
Well, no, but that's different. But you're talking about January 6th versus.
The fact of the matter is, no one should use that point. No Democrat should ever use the point that people on January 6th, cops died because of PTSD. No one knows what was in their head. So you can't use it as an offensive point, and I can't use it as a defensive point because we can't read people's minds. We have no idea.
Okay, we got 2 minutes left, but so your take is James Comey probably does not mean
I don't. No, I don't think James Comey is himself. I don't think he himself is going to do anything against the president because he has a great life. I mean, he's rich. He lives, I don't know where he lives, somewhere in Maryland, I would assume. He's going to have an incredible government pension. Why would he? I mean, he can write books. He can get $1 million book deals and speeches for everything for the rest of his career. So he's not going to do anything to jeopardize his fantastic life that he's built. But he very much wanted to broadcast to the rest of the world how much TDS and anti-Trump hatred he still has for that guy.
But
And that's why he put that out there on Instagram.
whenever Trump,
He wanted America to get that message. Now the question is, who's listening? Are they all sane? Or all the people that are listening to James Comey's message, are they all sane? Or are we going to find another guy that wants to climb on a roof with a rifle?
well, here's my thing. Trump has also advocated violence in the past. Does that? I mean, so I think if we make this argument about Jim Comey, we need to say, okay, whatever Trump has done in the past about saying that you could shoot the press that's in the back. I mean, was that okay for Trump to do?
We would have to.
The president have said that?
I will agree with you. Trump has said things that he should not have said. As far as Trump advocating violence, we would have to go through them case by case. I mean, yeah, there's situations where, like, I think in 2015 at a rally, he said, back in the old days, we'd knock a guy out like that. How is that any different than Joe Biden? How many times did Joe Biden say, if I was a younger man, I'd take you out back behind the woodshed? Joe Biden literally challenged a person at one of his rallies to a push-up contest. I mean, give me a break. Joe Biden used to do screwy shit all the time,
Oh, Joe.
I don't think Trump has, tried to entice anybody into violence any more than, again, these people are all saying stuff like this. In the world of politics, you had Chuck Schumer saying, Gorsuch, you won't know what hit you. You will reap the whirlwind. That's pretty strong language.
Chuck Schumer's terrible. He needs to go. He needs to go. Dick Cheney needs to go. And I'm not a Democrat because I'm in Illinois here and I see the Democrat shit that goes on and why state and local you need red. But
even AOC, did you hear what AOC said recently?
Oh no.
With the people that went to the jail and got arrested, she said, if you start coming after Democrat lawmakers, you will have trouble. Well, that sounds like a threat, AOC. What does that mean?
But that's something that you would hear Marjorie Taylor Greene and that other.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Say too, So
I agree with you.
But this is a good talk. I don't personally think James Comey wants anyone to kill the president. It would be really stupid to risk his pension and his, any jail time for that. So, yeah, no.
I just think he's a very disrespectful American and used his position of power to send a message to America. And maybe he doesn't care if some nut job's out there listening. If some nut job takes him up on it and does make another attempt at Trump, maybe Comey's like, hey, I'm cool with it.
No. No, because that's the
he said he wants him gone.
On his mind, people reminding him. So,
you could, in a much safer way, James Comey, you could just say, I don't like Donald Trump. Why is that so hard?
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think James Comey liked Hillary. I don't think he liked Trump. I don't think he liked any of the bullshitters in politics.
Yeah.
But it's coming to a close.
All right, we'll leave it there.
Okay.
We'll do another one soon.
Thank you.
Leave us comments of what you think about this. Leave us a comment and tell us if you think that what James Comey did. Again, I don't think he was trying to kill the president, but leave a comment and tell us if you think what James Comey did was respectful of his position in this country or disrespectful of his position in this country. All right, that's it. Bye.